This episode is sponsored by I'm Just Playing, but I do have two things for you today. So we recently released a mini prospecting course, 100% free to access, where I break down the script that my last team used to go from 6 meetings a month to 60 meetings per month. There's a lesson on how to write great first outbound emails, and then there's another lesson on video and voice note prospecting and best practices, and there's so much more in the course as well. If you want to get free access, just click the link in the description below. Now, alternatively, I said there's a second thing. Maybe you don't need prospecting support, but maybe you need help running better demos or scoring your deals with MedPick, or you need help with prospects that are ghosting you. If this is the case and you want to unlock some of these trainings and resources, go ahead and join the prospecting course anyway, because you'll find there's other resources and more content in the mini content vault folder. So go sign up today and unlock these resources. Right, let's get into the episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Hit Your Numbers podcast. Today I've got a really exciting episode. So today I'm going to be talking to you about AI and how you can use it to improve the quality of sales execution. For the last 10, maybe 12 months, I've been really nerding out over how salespeople can use and sales leaders can use AI to really close their sales team skill gaps, make them way more efficient so that you can improve overall sales performance and per rep productivity. And the reason I kind of got into them first is, if you guys follow us and kind of look into what we do, like one of the big parts of our business is going into sales organization and running really thorough skill optimization programs. And one of the things I was looking for AI to do is to help me reinforce the training so that after a sales training session or before an upcoming training session, we can be using AI to reinforce what we covered in our last session to help drive knowledge retention and ultimately drive business impact. So I started exploring and playing around with building custom GPTs and using other AI tools that are super low cost to help me reinforce the training. And then when I kind of lifted up the hood and saw what was possible, I got really curious. And now we've built I've built 20, 30, we're calling them AI sales assistants. And there's a couple of different ones I want to take you through today in this episode. Now, if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcast, I'd highly recommend you go and check us out and watch this on YouTube, because I'm going to be presenting in this episode. Most of the time I'm just talking to the microphone, but today I'm actually going to take you through a deck and actually take you through all of the different use cases that we've built and actually talk about some of the ways that you can implement these into your day-to-day role as a sales rep or as a sales leader. Okay, cool. So let's get into this. By the way, if you want to learn a little bit more about these, reach out. We can book a strategy call and I can share how I'm working with sales leaders to actually implement their own AI strategy using a lot of the content we're going to speak about today. Or if you're a sales rep listening to this, you can actually subscribe and access all of these AI sales assistants I'm going to cover in a minute, and instantly start using them in your sales role. Okay, so if you want to learn a little bit more about that, reach out, head over to the website, check some of that content out as well. Okay, cool. So let's jump into the episode here. So there's kind of 3 buckets that I've been building. So I've been building stuff to actually build things for you. So things like battle cards, business cases, that kind of stuff. And we're going to get into these individually in a minute. Then there's the coaching part. So how do we actually use AI to close that coaching gap? I do polls and surveys on LinkedIn all of the time, and it's terrifying how many reps report they just get no or hardly any coaching. And I've been a VP of sales. I understand you're busy, especially if you're an early stage VP where you're still selling, recruiting, leading the team, doing the executive stuff, board responsibilities. It's tough to find time to coach calls. Now with AI, you can actually coach every single call. And I'll kind of get into that today. And then some other stuff around insights is the third bucket. How do we, become more informed, and how can AI help us do that? Okay, cool. So the first one I want to talk to you about, AI sales assistant number 1, is account lookalike builder. So this is the cool thing about custom GPTs and about AI, is that most companies would go and spend 5, 10, 20, 30,000 pounds a year on software to do this. You can do it in custom in chat GPT. It's going to cost you nothing, maybe £25 a month to get the paid plan where you get better capability. Like I built this for a bunch of sales leaders. So about 4 weeks ago, before I went on vacation, I did an AI workshop for, I don't know, 15, 20 VPs of sales and CROs. It was a free workshop. And I asked these two questions. How many of you, the businesses that you work at, have asked you to implement an AI strategy? And, every hand went up. Pretty much every hand went up. And then my follow up question is, how many of you have built a custom GPT so far? And pretty much everybody's hand stayed down. But like they're all speaking to the big technology companies out there about their new AI feature when they haven't even explored things that they can bespoke to their business and give them the same, if not better. I'm going to be bold and say better capability, because you can train the model on your context and what's relevant, right? So I was on this workshop, and this is one of the ones I helped the sales leaders build. Really, really simple. What you do is, let's say, for example, you just booked a meeting with, I don't know, Salesforce, or you've just closed a deal with Salesforce. You just go into the AI, you type in salesforce.com, hit enter. And what this AI use case is going to do, this AI sales assistant is going to give you the 10, 15, 20 lookalike companies that compete with salesforce.com. It's going to tell you where they're based, how much funding they've got, or rate how much money they've raised, their industry, their value prop, their location, all of that kind of stuff, so that you can qualify them in as an account and start prospecting them, right? Like if I've just booked a meeting with Salesforce and the problem that I uncovered in that cold call seems to be something that's market wide, why would I not go and phone all of their competitors? But this sounds like such an obvious thing. But a lot of their sales leaders on that call said, look, we just need to get better at this. Like we're just calling through lists of accounts. We're not booking meetings with companies and then going and finding their biggest competitors and then going back to those organizations. And this is the power of AI, right? So that's use case number one. The second AI sales assistant is account research assistant. So I hear from reps so much like I don't do enough discovery prep because it takes too long, right? Or I don't build a point of view or an account hypothesis before running an outbound campaign because it takes me like 20, 30 minutes to research a company. And most of the time, reps just go to the same place, LinkedIn, their website, maybe look at some like historical stuff in CRM, and then they kind of jump on the call and they try and execute the call, right? And they usually don't find the really important stuff. And that's again the cool thing about AI is AI can look far and wide so much faster than we can as human beings, right? And Bastian gets a lot of value from using our account research assistant here. So another really, really good one. Okay, cool. Next up is annual report reader. So if you haven't looked at an annual report before, just go and Google BT annual report 2024, 2025. You'll find it pretty straightforward. Most large organizations will publish an annual report and they're usually massive, right? Like the BT one is like 250 something pages. Now, back in the day, as salespeople, we used to have to skim through those and try and find like hidden nuggets that we can leverage around problems, initiatives, opportunities, and then use them for discovery and building our business case. Now, what you can do with this annual report reader that I've built, you literally just download the annual report, upload it into the ChatGPT engine, and put in your company website so it has context in what you offer, and it scans the 250-page annual report in like 10 seconds and only pulls out the stuff that's relevant to what you sell and helps you build an account hypothesis and a point of view, some discovery questions so that you can go and run a great discovery call, or you can use it for prospecting or whatever it might be. And Shazzy here gets like loads and loads of value from that as well. So definitely something to think about building, or reach out if you want to learn a little bit more about ours. Okay, so this one is when we're going to start getting into the good stuff. So battle card builder. Right. So most of the organizations when I was a rep that I worked at didn't really have battle cards. And the organizations that did, they usually became irrelevant, out of date pretty quickly. Sales enablement or whoever built them, would spend ages trying to do mystery shopping, that kind of stuff, because they never really knew where to look. And they were either inaccurate or like they were no longer up to date, as in like the competitors have innovated or they changed their pricing or positioning or whatever, and now that is no longer a differentiation of ours. So the thing that's really cool with this is like I jump on a coaching call with a rep and they complain that they don't have up-to-date battle cards or they don't have any at all. an SDR, an AE, a VP of sales that doesn't have a sales enablement person, you can literally build these in 5 minutes, less than that. And it's going to give you like SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses between you and a direct competitor, pricing comparisons, customer voice analysis, that kind of stuff. Wild. And you can update them every day, every 24 hours, every 5 minutes if you really wanted to, right? And you can then ensure that if you're a sales rep, you've always got the most up-to-date battle card. If you're a sales leader, you know your reps are always putting their best foot forward. And I think it's such an easy one for us to build, and something that we probably, maybe don't take seriously enough in sales in 2025. Okay, so anyone that follows me, anyone that speaks to me knows I'm massive on business cases. Like, it's so critical that we build cost justification, especially in this economy, in this market that we're operating in now. Everything's being looked at through a completely different lens. And most CFOs are rejecting the budget request because it doesn't scream, come and buy me. So what I've basically done is I've trained this AI on what a really good business case looks like, how to format it with my templates, hours and hours and hours of transcripts of me doing business case training with sales organizations and coaching the AI on what to do. All you need to do is interact with it within 2 to 3 minutes after it's asked you a couple of questions, or you drop your call recording transcripts in. It literally writes the 1 to 2 page business case. I use it in every opportunity now because why wouldn't I? Like, I've won so many deals, 50, 60, 70% win rates because I've used a business case, but they're quite time consuming to build. Why would I not use AI to help me do it in like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then ship it to my champion, and then jump on a call, fine tune it with them, and help them take that to the economic buyer for budget approval? Like, no brainer. And our customers are seeing massive improvements in win rates by building a business case for 100% of their opportunities, not just the really, really big ones. Okay, so no brainer for me. All right, champion messaging builder. So this was one of the earlier ones that I built. So when I joined my last organization, there was 5 reps, and they were booking about 6 meetings per month across all of those reps, and they were just doing spammy outbound emails. Okay, and I was just like, maybe not the right guidance that the business was providing. So I came in, banned the email, and said, look, we're gonna learn how to make cold calls, but first we need to understand, like, who are the personas, what do they care about, like what's like really bad in their world, what are they struggling with, like what's their current state, and then what's their desired future state, and how can we communicate this stuff in a cold call, an email, a prospecting video, direct mail, whatever it might be. Okay, so champions want trusted advisors. We need to understand the language that they speak so that we can build that status with them. So you interact with this AI sales assistant within 2 to 3 minutes. It's going to help you learn, how champions talk about the problem, the impact that problem has on their business, while building you scripts like cold call scripts, email templates, video frameworks. It even does like trivia. So it'll ask you a couple of questions, multiple choice, about the persona to test your knowledge on how they operate, who they are, what they care about, that kind of stuff, to reinforce those behaviors and those important areas. And then you can like immediately implement this onto a cold call, a discovery call, a demo, whatever it might be. So yeah, in the kind of world of AI where everyone's like automating and spamming databases with just cookie cutter generic messaging, like being able to really understand what your champion does, what they care about, the problems that they talk about in the words that they use when they talk about the problem, massive game changer. And my last organization, we went from 6 meetings a month to 60 meetings a month within like 30, 45 days. Because yes, partly we were picking up the phone, which they weren't doing before that, but the messaging just completely shifted, and we had persona scripts for every key persona, and they all aligned back to the way that they speak, and it helped us build really trust early in a cold call. All right, cool. So let's get into like some of the coaching stuff as well here. So cold call coach, this is one of the series of our coaching assistants. So a lot of reps that come and buy coaching with me, they say, look, I don't get any coaching, on my cold calls or discovery calls or my demos. If I do, I feel like the feedback is really outdated, doesn't seem to move the needle. The problem that I have with my business is like we've built really good authority in the market around, sales execution and closing skill gaps. We're pretty busy, and I can't, coach people like outside of working hours because people have got a life, and between 9 to 5 we're pretty slammed every day. So one of the things that I need to do with our business is how do we create scale if people want to get feedback from me, I was like, hey, I wonder if I can train some AI to help me be your coach 24/7, 365. So what we've done with the cold call coach, the discovery coach, demo coach, ghosting coach, all these different email coach, that kind of stuff, is I've trained it on how I give feedback, what I think strong execution looks like, scorecards. So cold call scorecards, discovery scorecards, that kind of stuff with definitions and simple scoring logics, so that you just drop a cold call transcript, a discovery transcript in, and it basically scans the call, scores the call, builds you a coaching plan, and gives you feedback within like 30 seconds. And I've been using this with lots and lots and lots of different customers now. And I always review the output, and it's pretty much bang on. It's super scary. It's super cool. It's as if like I'm giving the feedback, which was my goal. So really, really cool that people like Ben get massive value from being able to get coaching and feedback on 100% of their calls, be it a cold call or a discovery call. So really, really cool. All right, up next, cold call objection builder. So a lot of organizations don't really understand the full depth of the objections that their sales reps are facing on the phone or during the sales process, so that they can then build content or talk tracks or whatever it is to overcome that stuff. Or if you just joined a new organization and you need to build pipeline as an SDR or as an account executive, you might feel a little bit nervous because you don't know what objections you're going to get. And when you get them, you don't know how to overcome them or handle them. So the cool thing about this is I've kind of trained it on, like, you put in your company details really, really quickly, and then and the personas that you sell to, and it's going to tell you like what objections you're likely to face on the phone or through the sales process, why you're going to receive those as objections, like why they would bring them up or why they would think those things, and then what you can do to overcome them. And then if you want to, you can drop the transcript in of you trying to handle an objection. And if it didn't go to plan, you can put the transcript in. And then again, it's going to coach you on how to approach that next time differently to have a more successful outcome. So really, really love this one. And we're going to do more of these different objection builders for different stages of the sales process. So watch this space. All right, cool. So cold call script builder. So I mentioned my last team went from 6 to 60 meetings pretty much within 30, 45 days. The script has been wildly successful in lots of different industries, lots of different reps that I work with, either at the rep level or the sales team level. So it was a total no-brainer for me to build a cold call script builder. So in the back end, I've trained it on what that script looks like. So actually put the real kind of raw script into the back end. And then I trained it on like what a good script looks like, why it needs to look that way, what frameworks to use, all the different key components like the opener, planting problems, discovery, telling inspiring customer stories, asking for the meeting, objection handling, that kind of stuff. So that all you need to do is when you interact with it is give it the product you sell, the persona, a couple of other things, and it literally writes the script. I'm going to say like pretty much as good as I would, if not better. And it's going to do it in like 30 seconds. And you can literally then go and pick up the phone. And, Ben here, as you can see, who's an A Reward Gateway. He's a full cycle sales rep, was blown away by the accuracy and the quality of the content that was given back to him. I'm pretty sure there's another rep in the sales university that used it on a Friday afternoon and booked 2 meetings instantly after using the cold call script builder. So yeah, really, really cool use case there for AI. Okay, cold email coach. So just like the cold call coach one, if you're not getting any feedback or guidance from leadership or your manager on cold emails, then no worries. This assistant's going to kind of do some of that for you. So again, I've trained it in the back end of hours of cold call trading transcript that I've delivered with sales teams. And then this one just walks you through building the perfect email from subject line all the way through to that like final call to action as you sign off the email. But it's going to coach you through the process to actually train you and upskill you on what a really good email looks like and why it's writing it that way. I think that's the important part, is when it makes a recommendation on how to open the email or how to tell an inspiring story in the email or whatever it might be. It's also teaching you why it's doing that so that you can then go and do that moving forwards. So we've built the leading skill optimization platform with 400 plus sales lessons, 12 courses from prospecting all the way through to late stage deal negotiation and more. one-to-one sales coaching and AI sales assistance. And I want to give you 7 days free access to the platform. The reason I want to do this is because nobody gets a degree in B2B sales. And after training and coaching hundreds of sales reps and teams in the last 2 years, most haven't mastered critical selling skills, and it's preventing them from being promoted, earning great money, and building a great career in B2B sales. So go to the revenueenabler.com, grab a free trial, and join hundreds of salespeople that are closing their skill gaps and mastering sales. There's a link in the video description. I'm looking forward to getting you set up. Give me a shout with any questions. All right, next one, company hierarchy builder. So if you sell to large organizations, like let's say Amazon, for example, like my last team did, what you'll find is like big organizations make acquisitions and they start to build a bit of a hierarchy where there's subsidiary companies like, say, Amazon acquired Ring. Sometimes they might roll Ring up into the parent company, right? And, Ring now becomes Amazon. Sometimes if the brand is strong, like Ring is, they'll leave it as a subsidiary in the group, in the overall company hierarchy, and it will operate as its own entity. It can buy independently, that kind of thing. And the reason I built this company hierarchy builder is like when I was a rep, one of the use cases inside of Salesforce that we had was hierarchy. So I can go, right, we work with this company, or I'm trying to break into this company. Who else in the group in the hierarchy should we also prospect into? So imagine like you sold to Amazon, like my last team did. We could have then got into here and gone, hey, show me all of the subsidiary companies in the hierarchy of Amazon. Ring comes up, tells me, funding, company size, location, ICP fit, value prop. I might go, cool, that qualifies as an ICP account. Where's my Amazon story? Where's my value prop? Where's my talk tracks? Cool. I'm going to cold call the, head of IT at Ring and explain that we're working with Amazon. These are the use cases. This is the positive impact we've had on key business metrics. Do they want to learn a little bit more? Like, these are just really, really easy bookings. And it's so much easier having a conversation like this than it is with like a cold prospect. All right, cool. So CRO forecast assistant. So one of the things that a lot of sales leaders tell me they struggle with is like getting the reality on their forecast. So there's great tools like Gong. We're a Gong partner, which will help give you some of that insight, but also like really just making sense of the forecast fast is really, really important. And so many sales leaders tell me that they have to do that live on a call with their sales reps, and that can usually stop them from getting into all of the detail, or they can't actually cover every single deal for obvious reasons. So I thought, hey, I wonder if I could build AI sales assistants where you drop in your forecast into it and immediately within seconds get insights into the forecast and the risk in your forecast. So it's going to tell you, okay, these are the deals in commit, these are the deals in upside, or whatever your forecasting categories are. And then it's going to help you build a rep coaching plan. So it's going to say, right, in commit, you've got 12 million in pipeline. This is the confidence to close score. This is the risk. These are the feedback points, or this is the coaching I would give the rep on this specific opportunity. That's a committed deal, and then it runs that across every forecast category. And it also, as a CRO, or a VP of sales, it helps you build like a talk track for the board, so that when you're managing up, you're communicating up, you're putting your best foot forward there for sure. And Tom gets good value even as a senior BDM. Like, he loves using it because it helps increases the likelihood of closing those deals, because it shows him where the risk is and he can see that nice and early so he can do something about it. So I really, really like this one. Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure this is a free AI sales assistant on our website, so go and download a copy. But customer story builder. So, like, our job as salespeople is to inspire customers to do something differently. And for me, there's no better way of doing that than telling great stories, right? I think this is a critical selling skill in 2025. I've been like a really big advocate, a big fan of it for years. This assistant in like 1 to 2 minutes is going to build customer stories for you using the story frameworks that I've used for years. And then it's also going to make like it give you the talk tracks that you can use like on a cold call, discovery call, a demo, whatever it might be. You can also then ask it at the end to make you like micro stories that would be really good for like an outbound email or a LinkedIn message where you want it to be short and punchy. Or maybe you're doing like a Vidyard video prospecting outreach and you want to do like a short storytelling component. it'll give you like a condensed version there. So this is a really, really cool use case here for AI customer story builder. Go check out it on the website. Go to the revenueenabler.com. On the website, you'll see a learning hub drop down. Then there's a downloads page. It's one of the free AI sales assistants on that page. Go check it out. Okay, so next up, customer voice analysis. When I was a VP of sales and I was landing a new role, I would spend so much time listening to gong calls to try and understand how our prospects speak, how our customers speak, the words they use, that kind of stuff, so that we can use those back when we speak to different organizations to build credibility, trust, be seen as an expert, trusted advisor, all that kind of good stuff. So this assistant, all you need to do is interact with it. It's going to ask you for some transcripts. So I'd recommend you like open up a Google Doc or a Word document, go and put like 10, 15, 20 discovery call transcripts, for example, into the Google Doc, and then upload it into my customer voice analysis AI. And it's going to help you spot patterns and trends to inform your messaging. I would give this to marketing. It's great for campaigns, the website positioning. Give it to sales engineering. Anyone that speaks to customers should have access to the analysis that it does for you. My, again, kind of whole thinking and point of view here is that you need to be able to explain or communicate and articulate the problem better than your customer can. If you can do that, you're really, really onto a winner. Next up, demo coach. So again, just like the cold call, just like the email one, if you're not getting any feedback on your demos, deals are stalling, you're not getting technical validation, you just feel like there's something not right, then look, use the AI sales assistant here. Again, it's been trained on hours of transcripts from demo training with sales organizations. It has a scorecard. So again, it's going to score your demos and give you feedback within seconds, give you that overall score, build you a coaching plan so that you can, book more follow-up meetings, that kind of thing from the demo. And Adam gets great value from this as well. Loves how accurate it is and how you can get through so many more calls by using it. Okay, cool. Discovery call coach. So I do a lot of sales team training and one-to-ones with sales reps that don't get any coaching from their line manager. This one is really, really good. So it's been trained on a lot of discovery best practices. It breaks down a really in-depth scorecard. Just go and drop in your discovery call transcript into the assistant. 30 seconds later, it's scored the call. It's breaking down every score. So if you, let's say, for example, I don't know, let's say decision criteria discovery. So if you do it, if you don't do it, it's going to give you that feedback on why it scored you low or medium or high. Problem discovery or business impact. If you didn't even ask questions, it's going to score you low, and then it's going to say you didn't bother to explore business impact. You kind of spoke about problems but didn't really understand the impact it's having on the business, and that's going to mean you won't be able to build a compelling business case and cost justification. I'd recommend you probe a little bit deeper next time on understanding the negative consequences of not solving the problem in the next 6 months, for example. Okay, and then it's going to give you questions that you can ask and that kind of stuff. It's unbelievable. So really, really, really good one. Discovery Call Coach. Go check it out. All right, Discovery Prep Assistant. So again, like the account planner, but this one's a lot more detailed. So instead of you spending 20, 30 minutes researching the company, probably missing out on loads of really important information, this assistant's going to do it in like 1 to 2 minutes. It's going to build you a discovery call point of view. It's going to help you build that account hypothesis, an organization like overview, news, funding news, really kind of hyper effective discovery questions, tailored to the prospect's world. It's going to build you some talk tracks on how to open the call. It's even going to help you understand like how do they make money, what products do they sell, who are their competitors, who are their customers, how are they helping their customers, that kind of stuff, so that you can really understand the ins and outs of that business, so that when you turn up to the call, you've got one really good like knowledge on who the organization is, what do they do, how do they make money, but also you can come prepared with a point of view, some of the problems they're likely to be facing, and discovery questions to understand business impact, that kind of stuff. So yeah, really, really, really good one. It's what I use every single day when I'm running discovery calls. Okay, so this one like kind of starts to move into like what I would call like scenario planning. So economic buyers, if anyone isn't like familiar with MEDDIC, economic buyer is the second letter in MEDDIC, and this is ultimately the person that can say yes when other people say no, and the other way around. So one of the things that I think is really important, I teach a lot of this when I'm doing medic training with sales teams, is that you get one shot with the economic buyer in most cases. If you don't make the most of it, if you're not prepared, it can cost you a deal. And if you're an mid-market or enterprise selling, it might take you 3, 4, 5, 6 months longer to get the economic buyer engaged. That's a lot of time wasted when you could just, be more prepared. So scenario planning is really, really important. Nowhere near enough companies and sales teams on the planet do it. Use this assistant to properly understand why the economic buyer would block your deal, which objections they're going to throw at you. You can then come prepared with a strategy to overcome them. You can even role play the conversation with your manager before the call so that you can really, execute well on that call and make the most of the conversation. All right, next up, ghosting call clinic. So ghosting sucks, drives me mad. I mean, it drives me bonkers that sales leaders ghost salespeople and then they complain about how ghosting is ruining their forecast. It makes no sense to me. I'm like, make it make sense, please. But it's just the world we live in, right? So this assistant helps you understand why this prospect has ghosted you so that you can prevent it happening with other opportunities in your pipeline. So it's just going to ask you like 3 to 5, 6 questions about an opportunity, and it's going to basically help you become more self-aware and identify why you're being ghosted. Probably because they said things like, it's good enough, it gets the job done. It could be better, could be worse. Like, this is like non-committal language that sometimes we don't hear as salespeople, and we hear other things that maybe we should dig a little bit deeper into and don't. So ghosting call clinic, really, really good one. Go check it out. ICP builder, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is really for like if you're a rep or a founder at a very early stage company. This could save you months of time and pain wasted on the wrong organization. So this assistant builds your ICP, understands the correct outbound triggers for the product that you sell. So yeah, it can be really, really helpful. Definitely like one to check out, but I wouldn't prioritize it unless you're at an early stage company or you're at a normal business that's been around for a little while and you're really struggling to identify what companies to target now. The outbound trigger component could be really, really valuable. So it might be worth checking out for those reasons. Okay, job description reader. This is one of my favorite places to go and research about a company. So companies don't just hire people for fun. Like a company isn't going to hire a SVP of enterprise sales on 250, 500 grand a year because they've got some change left at the end of the year and they need to spend it. They're doing it because they want that person to come in and grow the business or solve a problem or drive change. So this assistant basically reads job descriptions for you, and then within like 30 seconds, it helps you connect the dots so that you can sell and cut through the noise. So for example, if the organization's hiring I don't know, a head of employee engagement, if you actually read the job description properly and really paid attention, you can actually see the problems they're trying to solve, the opportunities they've identified by making this hire. That should then be able to connect back to your product, and it makes a great prospecting message. It's good for discovery, it's good for demos, that kind of stuff. All right. So MedPick decision criteria builder. So on my list, on my hit list of new assistants that I want to build in the future is around MedPick. So one of the ones that I built so far is decision criteria builder. So if you're not sure how your prospect is qualifying you, because that's what's happening. So do you know, like discovery calls, you're trying to qualify the prospect on, is there a problem? What's the impact? Is this person likely to be a champion? Do they have budget? That kind of stuff. Well, during the sales process, as part of decision criteria, your prospects are scoring you. They might even be using things like a vendor evaluation matrix. If you want a free copy of that guide, go to the website, go to downloads and download it. It's basically a way for you to rig the game, make it really hard for AEs that you compete with, so that you can start to use differentiation and set competitive traps. This assistant helps you build out persona goals, decision criteria that you need to align with and satisfy, and actual phrases that they use when they talk about those criteria. So you build trust and credibility, but also some of the common objections that they're likely to give you so that you can overcome those and put your best foot forward. Another MedPick use case we have is metrics reinforcement. So metrics is usually one of the most challenging parts of Medic for organizations to implement. Champions is the most important, but metrics is usually the hardest. And in most cases, it's just because reps are maybe nervous or don't know how to ask. and identify and quantify business metrics. So this one's really good because when you start to then actually attempt to do it, this is things going to help you reinforce how to do it, what good looks like, good questions, what a good metric looks like for your product and your service and your market. And it's going to help you do it in a couple of minutes by asking you a couple of questions. And then you can make sure that you feature those metrics in your business case to get your deal approved and create budget. All right, nurture my pipeline. So every now and then I get a sales rep reach out and say, hey, we have really long sales cycles. I feel like just lost and confused on what I should be nurturing my pipeline with. What would you recommend? So I thought, hey, I wonder if I can build an AI sales assistant that gives reps recommendations on what they should send content wise. So what this one will do is help you identify, let's say I'm selling HR software again. I put in a couple of bits of information that it asks me, and then it goes and gets me the top 5 podcasts for HR tech, gives me the best newsletters to go and subscribe to, like Gartner, Forrester, McKinsey Co, whatever it might be. The thought leaders and trusted advisors that HR leaders look up to in the HR space. And then what I do is I go and subscribe to those newsletters, and if they send me something interesting, I forward it to the deals in my pipeline. Hey Julie, this just landed in my inbox. Don't know if you subscribe to this newsletter, but I thought this was really interesting reading, kind of aligned to what we spoke about a couple of weeks ago. I thought I'd share it with you. Let me know what you think. Or, hey, Julie, I've just been listening to the Hit Your Numbers podcast, and there's a really interesting episode about AI use cases. And I found the Nurture My Pipeline one really, really interesting. I thought I'd share it with you. Looking forward to connecting in the next couple of weeks. Speak soon. And here's the link to the podcast. Like, it's just going to give you loads of really helpful stuff that you can do. And remember, like, differentiation today isn't just about product, it's also about the way that you sell. So, like, if you're going out of your way to be helpful, prospects are going to lean into you. They're going to want to work with you. If you don't, they might start to feel a little bit nervous. Maybe they're going to go and partner with somebody else. So this can be a really easy way for you to help build trust and credibility by being helpful. All right. So I spoke about outbound triggers earlier. This one is literally just focused on just that. So just because the company matches your ICP doesn't mean now is the right time. So like when we think about outbound, guys, we need the right company with the right message at the right time. And the outbound triggers part helps us get the right time part, because you might have the right company. Yeah, let's say I sell to CRM companies, my customer's Salesforce, I want to sell to HubSpot. So I know it's the right company. My messaging is really good because my conversions are strong when I reach out to people at the right time. But maybe HubSpot aren't in the market right now, or maybe HubSpot aren't facing this specific challenge based on where they are in their growth journey or whatever, right? So I might spend a load of time prospecting to the wrong companies. Now, I know sales leaders that have spent 5-6 figures on software for like intent signals and things like that. And they are really, really good tools. But sometimes you just need a really good outbound trigger that's right for your business. And that can help you qualify in 50 target accounts and go and run a prospecting campaign with the right message because you've got the right timing piece. And it can be transformational. So I think there's a lot of value in the first party and third party and intent, data trigger organizations or signal companies, that kind of stuff. But sometimes just a good old fashioned outbound trigger can be everything you need to cut through the noise and book a meeting. All right, personas. So this one is a persona card builder. So just like the champion messaging builder, this one's going to help you have a really strong understanding of the persona. And I think that's critical, especially in outbound and early stage of the sales process when you're trying to understand their world and try and connect your product to their problem. So this assistant within a couple of minutes is going to build out persona cards, like 1 or 2 pages. So you can reference them from cold calls, emails, video prospecting, discovery calls, demos, maybe an on-site workshop because you're breaking into a new team of stakeholders and you've not engaged with them before. So you want to bring yourself up to speed on some of this stuff. You can just document all of these persona cards into your internal playbook or on your desktop, and you can lean into them over and over and over again. And again, the cool thing is you can just refresh these every 24 hours if you really wanted to make sure they were always up to date. And the output of these things is bonkers. Like the scripts that I'm writing, the templates and pitch decks I'm writing for sales teams when I'm doing training, I'm using this stuff not because I don't know what to put in them. I've got the frameworks. I've been doing this stuff for a very long time, but I want to make sure it resonates with my customer's customer. So I use these ones to bring myself up to speed on CISOs, IT directors, operation leaders, like whoever my customer sells to. This ramps me up really, really quickly so I can build strong messaging for my customers. Personalized image prospecting. So you would probably have seen like on LinkedIn, on our YouTube, like there's pictures of me holding Starbucks cups with the prospect's name on them, and like loads of prospects responding to them like, hey, let's book a meeting, hey, this is really really funny or really interesting, blah blah blah. So like image personalization is big. I've been banging the drum on it for 3 or 5 years now. If you think about like how overwhelming people's inboxes is, like sometimes it's really hard to get eyeballs on your value prop on your email that you've been sending out. This is where personalized images can really really help. If you want to see like a load of examples, go to, I mean, just DM me on LinkedIn. I'll send you a bunch of different free templates that I've used, and I'll show you the evidence of like people responding. I've got nothing to hide. I've got all of the receipts, and I think it can be a really powerful way of standing out in this war of attention that we live in now. And image personalization can help you, capture attention, cut through the noise, stand out, actually get eyeballs on your really great messaging, and give yourself a best chance of getting a reply. Okay, cool. So rapid research. So again, this is a free one that you can download on our website. Go to the revenueenabler.com, go to the learning hub, go to downloads and download a free copy of this. So let's say, for example, you need to really quickly understand how a company makes money or what problems they're likely facing so that you can reach out to them in a personalized way on a cold call, an email. Maybe you're getting ready for a discovery call, you're back to back, you've only got 5 minutes. This thing could do a really great job. Okay. And it literally takes 60 seconds. You just go in there, you put in the prospect's name, job title, and company website, and it's going to give you like a really detailed overview of like how they make money, what problems they're facing, any big industry news or business news, that kind of stuff. And it's going to help you build that really great messaging to go and, cut through the noise and win the prospect over. Okay, cool. So strategic prospecting. So I call this one the mass account 3 Ys. So if anyone hasn't heard of the 3 Ys framework before, it's basically why change. So like, what's the problem? Why now? Urgency, business impact, and then why you? Differentiation. Okay. So if you've got 15, 20 companies that you want to, prospect out into, but you don't want to spend hours and hours and hours doing research, what you can do is just upload those list of accounts that you want to book a meeting with. Make sure you've got their website URLs to hand. And then within 1 to 2 minutes, you're going to get a breakdown of why they should change the way they're doing things now, what problems they're running into, the urgency piece. So, why should they think about doing something differently now? And then, why should they pick you? And this is going to help you again with more relevant, personalized outreach. All right, cool. Next up, we have value statement builder. I think this is our last one. This is AI guys number 30. I've been busy for the last 12 months cooking in the kitchen, building these things out. I love the value statement builder. Okay, so let me ask you this question: does your pitch fall flat? So when you're pitching people, do you get people like nod their heads or like kind of say yes a lot, but don't really kind of attach to it? And kind of grab it with 2 hands and run with it. That could be on a cold call, that could be on a discovery call, that could be in a demo. If that is the case, which it probably is for most of you, because I listen to hundreds of call recordings and things like that every single month, every single quarter with sales reps when I'm coaching them, and I see it on prospects' face. I can hear it in the way that they talk to the sales rep, and it's because it lacks quantified value. Right. So like when we're teaching like medic or like really like strategic sales process, we help organizations, we help sales reps build, high quality value statements that demonstrate evidence that you guys have been able to drive significant business impact and quantified value. So this assistant within like 1 or 2 minutes, it's going to help you rewrite your value props. So you just basically put in your business website, personas that you sell to, that kind of stuff. Takes you like, I don't know, 30 seconds to fill in the information. And then it's going to basically rewrite those value props with metrics driven statements so that you can be seen as a must have, not a nice to have. Okay. Really, really important. Like this is probably right up there with one of the most important ones. It's probably the easiest one to implement, and it's going to have immediate impact on the way that you do prospecting and the way that you run your sales process. So you definitely want to check out the value statement builder. Okay. All right, cool. So just kind of bringing this episode to an end, guys. If you're interested in testing these AI tools out, then go to the revenueenabler.com, go to the free trial tab in the top right corner, or click on the tab, I think it says sales reps or for sales reps. For the last 2 years, I've been building a platform called the Sales University. It's got 4 key components. It's got training. So how do you close your knowledge gap? So what to do. So it's 400 lessons across 12 courses, prospecting, discovery, demo, business case, medic, etc. And then the second component is coaching. So one-to-one sales coaching with me, where we spend time every month listening to your calls, doing deal reviews, that kind of stuff, helping you become a better salesperson. I call this like closing the execution gap. You know what to do, you just don't do it consistently, or you don't do it very effectively. So I'll help you, improve in that area. The third component is enablement. So we have loads and loads of resources and tools that you can use. And then AI sales assistants. So there's 30 at the moment. There's probably more now this is being recorded. I've got loads to build, happy to build anything that you guys want. We're really kind of innovating in this space. So yeah, if you want to test out any of this stuff, go to the website, request the 7-day free trial. I can get you set up ASAP, and you can start to unlock some value and start to test drive some of these out. If you're a sales leader listening to this, like some of the stuff that we do with sales organizations, and come in and build these bespoke for your sales teams, like the discovery coach one, rather than it being my generic one, it's trained on your product, your personas, your market. Yeah, if you want me to come in and do this, bespoke for you, reach out, go to the website, revenueenabler.com, go to the sales teams page, book a strategy call with me, and we can explore how I might be able to help you guys out with AI strategies, or closing your sales team skill gaps, or a bit of both, whatever it might be. So yeah, I'm super, super passionate, having a lot of fun, building a lot of AI capability. I think we're just getting started. Like, people keep saying AI is the future. They're absolutely wrong. AI is a present. It's here. It's not going anywhere. Sales reps aren't going to be replaced. Most won't be replaced. But I do think it's a great opportunity to actually enable our sellers to improve the quality of sales execution, improve the quality of outbound, improve the quality of the way we run the sales process. So stop sleeping on this thing. It's here right now, and you will be left behind if you don't grab it with 2 hands and run with it. And I'm happy to help you grab it with 2 hands and run with it. So reach out, request a free trial, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode of the Hit Your Numbers podcast. All right, thanks for listening to this episode. I've got something else I want to give you before we wrap up here. So we've built the leading skill optimization platform with 400 plus sales lessons, 12 courses from prospecting all the way through to late stage deal negotiation and more, one-to-one sales coaching, and AI sales assistance. And I want to give you 7 days free access to the platform. The reason I want to do this is because nobody gets a degree in B2B sales. And after training and coaching hundreds of sales reps and teams in the last 2 years, most haven't mastered critical selling skills. And it's preventing them from being promoted, earning great money, and building a great career in B2B sales. So go to the revenueenabler.com, grab a free trial, and join hundreds of salespeople that are closing their skill gaps and mastering sales. There's a link in the video description. I'm looking forward to getting you set up. Give me a shout with any questions.